beautiful. We're going to be doing a pencil glitter pen today, and I'm just going to show you. We're going to use the Papermate Inkjet pen. It is a refillable ink. I like to use just regular straws. I got these at Target. I'm going to have my sandpaper handy, some UV resin. The colors I'm using today is On Lively from mfglittaman. I'm using... that says Dream House. Yep, Dream House from Glitter Chimp. And my silver is going to be from Glitter Down South. Please use code KH15 for a discount on Glitter Down South. You can also use code Toasty0 for 10% off with Glitterman. What I just showed you were some nail tape. Nail tape is wonderful if you want to do those little details with like little stripes of vinyl, but you don't want to have to cut little straps of vinyl. So what I'm doing here is just taking my pens apart. I have 3 Ziploc baggies where I put the different parts. The tip goes in one, the ink goes in another, and then the clicky part goes in another. And then I keep those 3 Ziploc baggies together so I don't lose the parts to my pens. You're going to take this little part off. And you can file that down with a knife. That's a little dangerous, but that's how I do it sometimes. Or you can also sand that down. I'm gonna go use my Dremel for this part, and then I'll be right back. So I sanded that down, and I also base spray painted my pens. Just a quick little scrub down with your sandpaper, wash that off, and then I just do a base paint. So I have sort of a matching color. It doesn't have to be perfect. It's okay if you have some drips, anything like that, that's fine. Here I'm just putting some UV resin, a super light layer on it. So for the gloves, I don't get the little finger gloves, the little finger cots, I think they're called. All I do is I grab my regular glove and I like to just cut off the finger parts, and I get 5 little finger cots from one glove. So that or a brush is how I like to use my UV resin here. So I just put a fine layer of UV resin, and then you glitter as normal. I like to apply my yellow first. If you use your container really close to the actual surface that you're glittering, for us is the pen here. I apply it really close first, and then I start doing my ombre. I am not going to be applying a silver glitter. I think I said silver earlier. That's actually a gold, a champagne gold, and that's going to be for my tip. So I do my yellow in the middle with an ombre to both sides. So you're going to apply that gold in an ombre, okay? So you keep that container far away, right? The higher up the container is, and the more steep the angle is on the object you're glittering, whether it's a tumbler or a pen, the more of an ombre effect you're gonna have. You're gonna have that fallout glitter. Now, don't forget to save that glitter. We're not rich in this house. Glitter is expensive. Please save your glitter. Don't combine all the colors together. Keep that glitter pure. After you're done glittering, put it right back in its container. So we got the yellow, we got the gold, we got the pink for the eraser. Before I do anything else, I'm going to cure my UV resin under the UV light. Now, this glitter pen is going to get a lot of UV time. So for right now, I only do a little bit of time. You can do 30 seconds. At least for myself, there's no magic number. I just do it for a little bit of time. Give it like 1 pass under the UV light, and then I go on to my next step. After those 30, 60 seconds that you let that cure, we're going to apply another layer of UV resin over your glitter. If you cured your glitter, then it should not be moving at this time. You keep those ombre colors where they want to be, where they should stay, and you just apply a nice, as even as possible, thin layer of UV resin. Just keep applying it. Make sure you get your little edges, and then go ahead and cure that one more time. Once it's all done curing, give it about 60 seconds. Now here you can sand it smooth. So you should have applied a pretty even thin layer of UV resin, but here's where you make sure your glitter pencil pen is say that 3 times fast, right? But here's where you make sure it's nice and smooth before we start applying our decals. So sand smooth, then after it's sanded smooth, you're going to want to wash that with some Dawn dish soap and pat it dry. Now you're absolutely ready to go ahead and start applying your decals. Here you can see me do some nice beautiful struggling trying to do a reverse weed. So these are going to be really small decals, guys. The big thing here is that one, my vinyl wasn't like the most amazing vinyl ever. So I'm really just trying to do a reverse weed, which means that I like to put my transfer paper or transfer tape on top of my entire decal, and then I apply that entire thing to my surface, whether it's a tumbler or a pen in this case. Take the transfer tape off, and then you're going to take the actual outside vinyl part off. So you're going to weed the entire thing while it's on the surface where you're applying it. Okay, now we're going to start the part for the eraser, the metal part. I like to use washi tape. This is glitter washi tape, so I'm just going to take a little piece out and I'm just going to wrap that around the top of my glitter pen. Next up, I have my nail tape. You will find this on Amazon. It's also, if you're going to my TikTok, is on the link on my bio. Under Amazon finds, you'll find my Amazon storefront. It's got Tumbler supplies. This nail tape is bomb if you don't want to use your cutting machine to cut your hollow vinyl or whatever vinyl into 0.00020 measurement of like little strips of vinyl, because it's a pain in the butt. At least for me it is. A really good friend told me to check out the nail tape, and it has been an amazing addition to my craft area. So you just use whatever nail tape you want to use. I'm using a hollow silver to represent those little edges of the metal part, and look how bomb that looks. Okay guys, this is the actual magical part. So whenever the mirror, this is how we're gonna cure it, so you don't have any tackiness left behind. It's going to cure completely like dry, normal, like a regular 2-part resin. So you apply your UV resin like we have been doing it all along, and this is for your final layer, right? So at this point, you have all your glitter on, all your decals on, it's nice and smooth. You did whatever you needed to do. You apply your final layer of UV resin, and at this point, at this point, you're going to make sure it's nice and even. And that layer of resin, it's how you want it. You put the mirror at the bottom, you put that wet UV resin in a cup of water, and then you apply the UV light to that cup of water that like magnifies the UV rays. I don't know. It does some magical science, resin, chemical stuff. And it works. It's magical, and you just let it go for like a good 90 seconds. This is where I don't get stingy with my UV, and I do hit that 90-second button a good once or twice, and then I check it out. At this point, you can take it out of the water, pat it dry like normal, and at this point, it's all done. It should be nice and dry. You should not feel any tackiness. If you do, you can repeat the water process, but at this point, look at your pen. You can take it off the straw. If you need to do any final little touches, like I'm going to cut off those little pieces at the end. And make sure I cut off anything that's inside the actual pen, any UV resin that may have gotten inside of the pen. I get that off. I like to use a little straw brush to get anything outside of the pen that may be inside. The edge for me was looking a little bit rough, so when I cut it, I did not like having an open, like exposed edge. So I am going to apply another little bit of UV resin just at that little tip part, just to make sure it's completely sealed. Granted, this is not like a tumbler. It's not going to be seeing a bunch of water or a bunch of liquid, but I still like to seal it, make sure I don't have any openings in my edges where you could potentially get water or anything like that inside, or it could start peeling. You don't want anything like that. So I seal my edges using the same UV resin mirror water method. And at this point, you can just get it out of the water, and you can just make sure everything is nice and sealed. You can see here, you don't have any open edges. So if everything is how you want it, just put your pen back together and you'll be good to go.